welcome to the first installment of this new podcast called Convicted, where we will address the interests of all incarcerated people as well as everybody impacted by the prison system in this country. We will attempt to do this by discussing issues related to the conditions within these walls and highlight how these very conditions affect the rehabilitation efforts. For those of you who don't know, rehabilitation is referring to the process, the official process by which prisons attempt to help incarcerated people to reintegrate back into society without being a burden to it. So this will happen by utilizing the voices of incarcerated folks, including myself, who will share our experiences and perspectives to create dialogue that may help listeners to get a better understanding of how intrinsically woven this prison industrial monster is into the fabric of American society. This, as well as why it's so important to public safety that people comprehend how the inner workings of this particular aspect of our so-called justice system is relevant to society as a whole. So my name is Etienne Moore, and I am currently housed in one of California's state prisons, serving a sentence of life without the possibility of parole for crimes that not only did I not commit, but also wasn't even present for. And as tragic as that may or may not sound, this has been my reality for the last 28 years of my life. Yeah, you heard that correctly, as I have literally been caged up and subjected to these oppressive and dehumanizing conditions since April 20th of 1995. 20 years old. But even with that, I will still do my very best to provide you with a prime example of resilience from my personal. Yes, you heard that correctly. I have literally been caged up and subjected to these oppressive and dehumanizing conditions since April 20th of 1995, since I was 20 years old. But even with
this call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I will still do my very best to provide you with a prime example of resilience from my own personal experiences, along with those of others who share similar stories and who also, despite having to endure these continuous exercises of cruelty and degradation, will open up your eyes to the power of hope and redemption. As the host, I will help to facilitate these experiences and perspectives by opening up the floor to questions that tackle subjects dealing with life on the inside. This will include things that may be uncomfortable and controversial to discuss. However, we will also spotlight some truly extraordinary success stories of people who have overcome these horrific odds only to become shining examples of change in humanity and continue to strengthen the argument that redemption is possible. People encourage it. There is a necessity to prove the validity of this truth by addressing the further need for programs focused more on the restorative quality as opposed to perpetual punitive measures. So with that, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation mission statement on their own official website states, in fact, that facilitation of successful reintegration of individuals in our care back to their communities equipped with the tools to be drug-free, healthy, and employable members of society by providing education, treatment, rehabilitative, and restorative justice programs, all in a safe and humane environment that is on their own website. And furthermore, with the Title 15, which is the CDCR guidebook to police policy for both incarcerated people and staff, under Section 3270 reads, the primary objectives of the correctional institutions are to protect the public by safely keeping persons committed to the custody of Secretary of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and to afford such persons with every reasonable opportunity and encouragement to participate in the rehabilitative activities. So I ask, why then is the recidivism rate for those released from CDCR custody almost 50% within 3 years of release? Rehabilitation is supposed to be better than that. Recidivism means that a person gets out, comes back to jail, he reoffends. This is within 3 years. So, I mean, if the mission is to successfully reintegrate individuals back into society, then where does the fault lie when half of those who were there in their care reoffend? More so, how can the absurd amount of funds being allocated towards the budget for rehabilitative programs be justified when not only half of the released are being readmitted within 3 years, but nearly 60% of those attending board dates are failing to achieve suitability? This means that board commissioners are unsatisfied with the progress of individuals' rehabilitations, enough to feel like 6 out of every 10 people sitting in front of them are not ready to re-enter the communities. So how do we explain that? California has 33 state prisons which is more than some countries, and they are responsible for 115 human beings. This is not even accounting for the federal institutions and the jails. This is unacceptable because locking people up like this is not changing the crime rate significantly enough to properly protect our communities. And what does that say for the future of the people being impacted by this reality on both ends of the spectrum? Prisons are a plague on society on so many levels, and this will remain so as long as they can exist as America's dirty little secret with impunity. Prison reform must be at the forefront of discussions in this country, and I encourage each of you to ask questions. Learn some of these truths on your own and do what you're able to do to advocate for solutions. Take a deeper look into why and how this issue exists and its magnitude to begin with. If you are directly impacted, you already feel the woes of this problem, and I pray that my efforts will provide some insight and encouragement to help you get through, and maybe even give you the ammunition you need to fight to make the necessary changes to correct these unjust practices. If you are not directly impacted, don't wait till you are before deciding to make a difference. Be a part of the discussion, make comments, and ask questions of me as well. I will gladly accept and address any concerns or feedback and put my best foot forward in providing the answers you need. I want to thank you for taking the time out to listen, and I welcome you to come back for the next round. Please share if you feel inclined to do so. Also, I would like to thank everyone in my corner who has or continues to sacrifice on behalf to support my fight towards vindication, and a special shout out to Jay Renee for allowing me the opportunity to speak out on behalf of myself and my peers. Your work is invaluable to our communities and societies at large, and I am extremely grateful. If convicted, I remain convicted. Solidarity, brothers and sisters.